Afterwards, by the way, in case you guys are interested, I got a few copies of my last book, which is a collection of short stories, a lot of flash fiction. It's also some longer stories, super weird in some places. Michael Kimball says about it, Timmy reads stories that are so strange and so funny that it's impossible to stop reading them. It's not true. I mean, they're strange and hopefully funny, but it's totally possible to just shut the book. There's a great imagination at work, and tell God I don't exist, and I'm grateful to have been a witness to it. Anyway, I've got a few of these for sale if you guys want them after the show. They sell for $12 online, but $10 today, so it's better time to get it. Oh, wait, hold on. Somebody's texting me, so I'm going to turn that off. When you're a writer, you never think you're going to be popular, so you don't turn off the thing that you don't expect anybody to text you. You should know you're working, right? Alright, so guys, I'm going to read. Is this too loud or weird, or do I sound funny?
You sound funny, but it's okay.
Alright, yeah. I can handle that. I can handle that. Alright, thanks guys. I'm really excited. You all seem like a really cool crowd. A little bit. I do a lot of readings here in Baltimore, and we tend to have. I love our crowd, but it tends to be that I'm reading to other writers that I already know more often than not. So this is cool because I don't know most of you guys, so that's unusual for me. And I'll be doing two more readings later this month. Ask me about them afterwards, and I might remember the dates and tell you when they are. One's at Edgar Allan Poe's grave, so that should be cool if you guys care about Edgar Allan Poe. This has nothing to do with Edgar Allan Poe, but it does have ghosts in it. So this is a novel. I've got two novels coming out. This one's coming out in early April, and I'm going to kind of read it to you a little bit randomly, but I will start with the first chapter, so at least it seems to make sense. It might not all make sense, but that's fine for me because I just want you to buy my book. And so if it doesn't make sense, then you hopefully have questions like, oh, that will be answered when I buy this book. All right, so we're going to start out. It's all separated into summers, or separated into seasons, 4 seasons, takes place in a year. And to give you a little background about the book, it's called The Ghosts That Surrounded Them. And it's an odd take on ghosts. It's definitely not a horror book or anything. It's not scary, but there's essentially 2 families in it. We might hear about both of them. We might only hear about one of them. Depends on what I read. And there's also a dog and also a single woman named Sue. So if you hear about the families or the dog or the single woman, you'll at least have some idea of what's going on. Most of it's going to be about ghosts. Here we go. So we're in summer. This is the first chapter, and this was originally published at Volume 1 Brooklyn as a short story, and kind of led to the writing of the book. So there was a family. The family was mostly made up of familiar materials: mother, father, and son. It was also made up of foreign materials. The foreign materials were too many to list here, or anywhere. Facial tics, sexual proclivities, favorite colors, and so on. But their oddity also made it familiar in a way. You know, family. The most familiar materials, mother, father, and son, also dog, were important, but the family had trouble over and over again expressing why or how they were important. In a similar way, they had trouble expressing why any stranger was important to any other stranger. Mother and father were expected to teach this lesson to son regardless. Son was expected to learn. The family lived in a red house made of plastic. It was like the small plastic houses lined up in the board game, only bigger. The family's copy of the board game, which was meant to imitate trade, was bound like a mummy in shrink wrap. Dog was supposed to live in a wooden hut out back, but was afraid to go inside after he once encountered a possum there. So Dog lived with the family in the house. He even had his own special door. The little plastic house was situated in the center of a square plot of lawn, the color of key lime pie. Beneath the lawn, the earth was teeming with worms that chewed the burnt souls of dead Indians buried there long before any suburban housing development. The dead Indians used similar materials to build their families. The worms had families also, but they were too busy chewing to notice. Dead Indians were not the only ghosts that lived with the family. The family created their own ghosts all the time. Their ghosts were made of words mostly, and the heated tumors that grow out of love, like mutations, thorns. Ghosts were another familiar material. There was a world that lived outside the family and the little plastic house. That world was made up of other families and fragments of families, all of them intertwined, whether they knew it or not. The family interacted with the world, and the world interacted with the family. Sometimes the interactions made the family feel good. Sometimes they didn't. The family's interactions did not have much bearing on the world, not as much as some other families' interactions with the world, but more than the family imagined. The family imagined no bearing at all.